Hey, Slider Crusaders. I'm going to say something controversial here in a second, not for the sake of being controversial, but just because I like to question everything. I enjoy questioning the most often used cliches in society and just pausing and asking if these things that we say all the time and maybe we passively agree with, seeing if these things are really true. Let me quote this first. This is from Dennis Prager. He quoted a Guatemalan columnist, Claudia Nunez. This was about Trump's blank hole comments about certain countries. Claudia says the epithets he used to describe us as but he also said things that are true. For example, that it is we citizens of migration countries who have accommodated ourselves to the needs to export people as we have commonly allowed excess levels of corruption to grow for decades. And Prager goes on to talk about how 73% of households from Central American and Mexican countries use one or more welfare programs, 51% of Caribbean immigrants, 48% of African immigrants, compared to 32% of Asian immigrants and 26% of Europeans. This is not racial. This is not racial. Everyone talks about race all the time. But what they really need to say almost all the time is culture. It's culture. I bet if you did a deeper study, right, with those numbers about, people from Central American countries versus European countries and how much those immigrants use welfare, I bet if you dug deeper, you would find certain European immigrants who use more welfare than other European immigrants. Or you'd find certain Central American immigrants who use less than other Central American immigrants. Or we've talked about before how Mexican immigrants in Texas are more entrepreneurial and use less welfare than Mexican immigrants in California, because each state, California and Texas, attract a different kind of person. I bet you can go even deeper. I bet you can say that Mexican immigrants from different parts of Mexico use more or less welfare than other immigrants from other parts of Mexico. It's not race. It's culture. It's culture. It's culture. If I can get nothing else across, and I've made this a mission on the radio show, is when people talk about race, they're really not. Almost all the time, they're really talking about culture. And it's a big difference. If for no other reason, when you talk about race, everyone gets super emotional. But when you talk about culture, well, it's just much more of an objective conversation. Now, here's the big question. You hear this all the time, that diversity is our strength. You've heard it. You may have said it. You've at least passively gone along with it. But let's question it just for a minute. What if diversity is not our strength? No, wait. Judge how defensive you got when I said that. All right, this is really interesting. I want to talk specifically about this argument in a second, but I just want you to stop and take an assessment of how you feel when I say that sentence. Let me make it a more positive statement. I'll take the word not out. Diversity is our weakness. Okay, how do you feel about that? Don't react to it. Like don't make an argument yet. Just listen to how you feel. Maybe you feel angry at me. Why do you feel angry? You feel angry because your brain is predicting the argument that you think I'm going to make. Right? Your brain has decided that the argument I'm going to make is that white people are better than brown people or something like that, and the more brown people we let in, the weaker we are as a country. Right? If I say diversity is our weakness, and you make it a racial issue, then you'll get angry. But that's not my argument. You've jumped ahead, and you got angry at what you think I'm going to say. Let me make a more positive statement, right? Judge how you feel when I say this. Unity is our strength. Unity is our strength. How do you feel when I say that? So Jonah Goldberg, he talked about how Jesse Jackson explained that the integration of the NBA made it stronger and better. And of course he was right, but would gender integration of the NBA have the same effect? Would diversifying professional basketball players by height? Right? These analogies can only go so far. Thomas Sowell once said, the next time some academics tell you how important diversity is, ask them how many Republicans are in their sociology department. Let me quote Jonah Goldberg here real quick. He says, there's a growing body of evidence that even if diversity, the kind that results from immigration, once made America stronger, it may not be doing so anymore. Robert Putnam, a liberal sociologist at Harvard, found that increased diversity corrodes civil society by eroding shared values, customs, and institutions. People tend to hunker down and retreat from civil society. So his argument is that the problem isn't immigration per se, it's this movement against assimilation, right? A call against Americanism. You see, the University of California system officially considers the term melting pot to be an offensive word. It's an offensive, triggering word that you're not supposed to say on campus, right? We are in the midst of an anti-assimilation movement. In the name of diversity, we're separating ourselves more than ever, and that makes us weaker. Let's move away from immigration again, because that gets very emotional. I go to a church that has a lot of people from many different ethnic backgrounds. We don't have many races because there's only one race. It's the human race, but a lot of different ethnic backgrounds. Does that make our church stronger? Not really. Certainly not unless we're on the same mission. What makes my church, the church I go to, what makes it strong is what unites us. And that's following Jesus. Now, once we have the uniting force, well then, yeah, sure, diversity is good. Diversity of gifts and talents and callings and abilities and the ability to relate to different people in different ways. These are all very, very good and important. But only if we're in it for the same mission and the same end goal. Other than that, that's worthless. Our church would not be stronger if we had a diverse mix of Buddhists, Muslims, and atheists. That is not a strong Christian church. You need the similarity in mission, the unity in mission first. Only then can diversity be of any use whatsoever. Similarly, in America, what are we uniting behind? What are we striving for? If we don't know, then diversity can make us weaker. If we can unite over a common objective, then and only then does diversity of experience and insight and talents and gifts mean anything. And this whole time, the color of your skin means nothing. Gosh, I wish we would get past that. Marines are strong individuals, but they're useless without a mission. And they're dangerous if you give each and every Marine a different and conflicting mission. The Marines' strength is in their unity first. And only then are their unique talents of any use at all. The progressive movement, though, has for a long time put diversity as the first and foremost priority. I think that's made us weaker. So where are we in things that unite us? First, it's a problem when the things that unite us as a country are surface level pop culture things, right? If the thing that unites us is the Super Bowl, that's too shallow. If the thing that unites us is we all enjoy Taylor Swift's new song or whatever, right? That's not enough. The things that unite us can't just be pop culture. The things that unite us must be creedal. We are a creedal nation. We're the only nation ever founded based on an idea. So we have to be united in these founding ideas, and we're not doing a good job. Nationwide, 8th graders, 18% are proficient in U.S. history. 18%. 27% are proficient in geography. 23% proficient in civics. 23%. Only 49% of millennials say they're patriotic. It's concerning. The other 51%, combined with their historical and civic ignorance, no bueno. So I'll end here. You hear diversity is our strength. You hear that a lot. Is it? Maybe diversity is our weakness. Unity is our strength. Unity in what? Unity in our American creed, a nation founded on the confidence of a free and virtuous people. And our quest is to always get closer to that ideal. More freedom and more virtue.